Hello and welcome back to Wild Sun Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne. Oops. And I am very happy to be here with you. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share with somebody who can make art and send it back and forth in the mail to you. I know we're not doing a postcard thing today, although maybe we could be. But this is really just about decoration in general. So, you see before you a page full of little paper cuts. So I had this cool idea that if I had a pages full of paper cuts, I could draw the patterns of tags on a sheet and then, print out the paper cuts and then print out, this one maybe, over the top of it and end up with some cute little tags that had paper cuts just kind of, all over the card. So then I thought I could do this by color, and I could have a bunch of blue ones and a bunch of yellow ones and potentially a bunch of red ones. So this is actually where I started making one big paper cut for the whole page, and you can sort of tell that I get some pretty good patterns on each one of those cards. And then I thought, well, if I made some smaller ones, I'd be able to fill up more of the page. Maybe, I wouldn't lose pattern on the edges of the tags. So I thought that might work. And then I thought, well, what if I go smaller? And then I thought, well, what if I do like general color boards? So I just kept sort of playing with these. Let me get these out of the way. Somewhere I have the blue one. I don't know what I did with it. I probably put it away, in some nice, safe place. That'll teach you. Anyway, so here I am. So I'm trying to fill up the whole, the whole page. And I got the brilliant idea that if I cut one of my paper cuts diagonally in half, it would sort of fill up this corner space. But that one isn't going to, there's still going to be a lot of white around it, so I'm going to put that one away. And these two pieces of paper are a little bit bigger, so I thought I would make a couple more paper cuts with you. Do a thing there. So I'm going to specifically fold and cut this so that I will be able to cut it in half and get two triangles. I'm just trying to think of, I think this is going to be a main orientation. And you know what? It might be good to keep that sort of solid you know, with as much. So I can cut straight through it, huh? I don't know. I've never really tried to design these. Well, every once in a while I do. I get bored with myself. So I want this edge to actually not have a lot of cuts in it, or maybe any. Let's do that. Let's try to cut it. Let's try to pull you in. Oops, sorry, I bumped. It is spring, and I have been cutting these little like mini seed poddy things. See the way this one comes up like a little tiny seedling. I didn't cover that up, did I? No, I didn't. So let's cut one of those. I'm going to try to keep remembering to check back and make sure I'm in view. Yes, let's talk about left brain and right brain. So I haven't talked about this in a long time, and actually I think most of my talks about this are in a bunch of videos that I took off the air about a year ago because YouTube was threatening to fine people who made arts and crafts that might be used for children. I don't know, the whole thing was completely ridiculous. And it turns out I think that they've sort of decided that was silly, which is very generous of them. Anyway, sorry. I have talked about this before, so let's see if I can cut and talk at the same time, which is really a big if. So everybody knows that our brains are two hemispheres, and if you broke open a walnut and looked at that, it kind of looks like the two hemispheres of our brains. And lots of things that we humans do, we have various ways of both sides of our brains dealing with. I want to do this again. This is why you can't talk and chew gum at the same time. One can't. Let's do this. So there's some things that if we only had one half of our brain, we could still do. A lot of memory, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, but there are some things where the main center for that human function is either in the left hand half of our brain or the right hand half of our brain. And one of the things that people seem to have come up with is that the right hand half of our brain tends to hold all those skills we humans have of spatial reckoning. Like if somebody is throwing a baseball at a batter, the batter is able to tell not only Like the ball is generally coming at me, but it's coming at me here, not here, not here, not here, like that. So it's all that kind of stuff. A lot of that is discerned on the right hand side of our brains. Very spatial, very sensory, I think, textural, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of the language, talking, and you've probably heard of this if you've ever known somebody who's had a stroke. On the left-hand side of their brain, it can sometimes be a little tough for them to figure out vocabulary. My mom had a stroke a couple of years before she died, and she had some struggles with language, and it was really hard for her, poor dear. She loved language. She loved writing. She loved talking. She loved, a lot of her intellectual self. And she lost some of it in the stroke. And it was painful, I guess. I wasn't really there. I wasn't invited, but that was hard for her. Sorry for that pain for her. So anyway, the two sides, hemispheres of our brain kind of function in some ways, in different ways. So when I'm cutting out a paper cut, this is so silly, and I'm trying to sort of guess, like I'm making these little flags come out, and I'm trying to gauge that it didn't work. Show you here. It didn't work here very well. That one's kind of, skinny. But this space and this negative space are both pretty similar. So I want this negative space to also be a similar width. And it's really hard to talk while we're doing that because my right brain has sort of commanded all the blood flow or something, and wants all the energy for itself. And the same is true with language. If you're trying to describe maybe a memory, or describe the sunset on a hill, or I don't know, something like that. Sunset over a hill. I mean, that is why walking and chewing gum can be a little stimulating sometimes for people, especially if they're working really hard, like talking to whoever they're walking with. It's just hard to move through space with your legs, and which is kind of right brain stuff, and also try to figure out what you're trying to talk about. So lots of times when I'm cutting a paper cut and I go silent, that's why, because my brain isn't giving a lot of energy and juice to the side of my brain that has all my words for me. So isn't this cool? That's what it's going to end up being. So what we're going to do, by the way, I really like how the pokies and the flags all turned out. That was fun. Let's do that again. All right, so I have this lovely crease going down the middle. And you see, by not cutting into that particular folded edge, I've given myself a really sturdy, like if it had holes in it, the paper cut could move around, shift in space. Oops. Now I'm going to pull this back out. Did I do that? Yes. So I can glue this in here. I think I'm going to use this one here. I may not be using that one. I can pull that here, and I can cut another one right there, and we're already at 15 minutes, so I think I probably will not cut this with you. When these videos get more than about 15 minutes, they just take my internet connection forever to download, upload. But I'm going to do the same thing with this very pale yellow that I did with these bright yellows. So I'll fill up that corner and that corner. Then you know what I could do? That would actually work quite well. I like this paper cut. I like how it worked out. See? Right brain, left brain. So I can put that one there and that one there, and then I've got these two pale yellows to fill up that corner, and I'll have a pretty full sheet. So I'll print it twice on cardstock. Once I'll print it you know, the black lines, so that I know where my tags are, and then once in color with the yellows. So then I will have pretty tags like these, only in yellow. So I guess that's all I really had to say. This was a quick video for you. Ta-da! Even when art is quick, or even when it takes a long time, it's really good. I've been thinking today, I was listening to, I think her name is Amanda Trough, Trough. I think that's Trough. And she was talking about what art does to us while we make it. And I find that while my brain is wandering around the right-hand side of itself, figuring out space and stuff. Actually, I have a whole nother right-left brain theory, or the theory deepens. But art making is very centering, very grounding, very, in my opinion, it makes our whole brains work in beautiful rhythm and coordination. It actually helps the right and left brain hemispheres talk to each other a little bit better. And I'll tell you about that maybe in the next video. So may your brain be working really, really, really well today. Little diamond sparkles all over the world. To you, have a lovely artistic day. All right, bye.